expanding, the minute we know this is available to be used, companies are making decisions about moving or expanding that are 6, 9, 10 months down the road. So we will be able to compete with that package, frankly, from the day that we know it will be passed as legislation.
Is the tax credit good for just 1 year? How many years?
No, 5 years.
5 years. Okay. And also on the credit reserve program, what are the qualifications for that?
You're going to have to apply for a loan with your local lending institution.
Right.
The good news about that is the loan is actually managed by the local lending institution, not by us, and not by CHAFA. So you'll go through the same process, and the only difference will be that you as a borrower will contribute a small amount of that loan to the loan reserve program, and we as the government will have a sum to match that input, which buys up the loan credit to the loan reserve for the lending institution and enables them to make that loan.
And is there a cap on that program?
Yes, there will be a cap of $500,000 on those loans.
But in total, though?
We're putting $2.5 million.
Just $2.5 million, okay.
Per year.
Given the current economic environment, I mean, is there evidence that small businesses will have access to these loans?
Our discussions with, and I meet on a regular basis now, people who are stock analysts, stockbroker, investment banker, an economist, and regular meetings, and the sense that we have is that the credit market will loosen up a bit. Like we said, the Colorado bankers and the independent bankers have been great in talking to us about their own businesses, and we've seen evidence from them that there are community banks that are actually increasing their loan volume. So it is our sense that this kind of an incentive can make some kind of a significant kind of difference for small businesses, and it'll be in an environment where credit will hopefully ease a bit as well.
What are you hearing from legislators about this getting bipartisan support so that it can pass?
Well, we have great sponsors who are going to move this through. Don Rusk, as a Republican, for instance, and this is one of those packages that should absolutely get bipartisan support. If you think about the kinds of groups that are sponsoring, or supporting this legislation, there are absolutely people that come from both sides of the aisle, and I think that there will be support going through. We'll see, but this is the kind of package that absolutely should have bipartisan support, particularly in this environment that we're in, where we're doing all we can to create jobs.
Yes, based upon everyone we've talked to, and all the conversations we've had over the last few weeks and months, how difficult is 2009 going to be in the state of Colorado?
I'm going to defer most of that question until tomorrow, when we'll release the numbers on the economic forecast, but they will be in line with what I've said all along, that we will be better off than many other states, but we will not avoid the effects of a downturn. And so we'll release that tomorrow, but it'll be, I think, the things that we've said will correspond with the forecast that's coming. It helps me as a governor in that I spend time talking to other governors about really the difficult straits that they're in. And Colorado is in such a much better position than so many other states.
Governor, on the oil and gas issue.
I can't help but looking over your shoulder, Governor, and seeing Representative Rice back there, and remembering his business personal property tax break he sponsored last year. I've heard both parties talking about that as an idea for this year. I didn't see this package. Are you open at all to the idea of expanding that tax break?
We expanded it significantly last year. That expansion occurs over a few-year period, so no, I don't think it's timely to expand that. There have been people who've talked about eliminating it, but those who do should understand there are counties in this state, local governments, that rely not exclusively, but significantly on that business personal property tax. And if you were to do away with it altogether, there are these counties. Think of Moffett County, where Craig, Colorado is. In Moffett County, the business personal property tax is a very significant part of their revenue stream. We eliminate that, we would have to backfill many things that the county pays into the state, and it would have an impact on the state budget that's really significant, in addition to not having the business personal property tax. So that is not on the governor's agenda this year.
The oil and gas issue, obviously Senator Representative King wrote the letter, and the argument is that when these rules were written, these were boom times for the energy industry, and there was a sense that if anybody can withstand some of the rules and regs, it's them. They're now struggling to
several iterations. There was a pre-draft draft that was published about a year ago, and the industry voiced grave concern about those. We worked with the industry really beginning in June and all the way through to the passage of those rules last week, and we met with industry leaders, we met with government affairs people, and talked about how we would find middle ground. If you look at where those rules began and where they wound up, we really believe that we struck the balance that we wanted to, which is that the industry can survive, absolutely survive, under that regulatory scheme, but we still do what we set out to do, protect air and water and wildlife, and maybe most importantly, local communities. Finally, I would say this, when those rules passed, they passed with unanimous support. 3 members from industry on the commission, and they voted unanimously from start to finish. So, for my purposes, I think we did all that we needed to do and should do to get those rules to a place where we struck the right balance. If you think about this industry, it is not the regulatory scheme, it is the pricing scheme and what the producers are receiving for that commodity price that is the big motivator in terms of their downturn in the industry. Oil went from $147 a barrel to $40 a barrel, and natural gas, the producers in Colorado are receiving now less than $2 per unit, where the market price is 4 to 5. And that market price was at 7 or 8. We were above 2, but we've never been close to the market price. There's always been this serious differential, and that has to do with the lack of infrastructure coming out of the state. I'm just using some extra time because this is an important point. In talking to the Obama administration about infrastructure, one of the things Colorado and that I included in our recommendation is to build natural gas pipeline out of Colorado as part of improving infrastructure. That would increase the price our producers get, and that would, I think, cause an upturn in the activity.
Governor, Colorado is known to the business community as a state that provides a lot of financial incentives for moving in. Would you describe this tax credit proposal as a dramatic departure from that?
Absolutely. It's a one-word answer. That's better than a 7-paragraph answer. Yeah, absolutely. You'd have to describe it that way. We've been in a lot of conversations. One of the first conversations Don and I were involved in, we were competing with Wyoming. It's a deal that we inherited from the Owens administration over the siting of a supercomputer lab in the National Center for Atmospheric Research. Was having the 2 states compete, and so we upped the ante coming in a little bit, and Wyoming overnight doubled their cash incentive from $20 to $40 million, and we couldn't compete with that. That's an extreme sort of example. We've been able to attract jobs here without cash incentives or large cash incentives because we have an educated population, because we have, we believe, a great research and development corridor, especially where renewable energy is concerned. But this job creation incentive will help us compete with states that have cash incentives. So thank you very much.
Governor, I was going to ask, if we give one-word answers, can you tell us if you've picked someone yet for a Senate selection? And if not, who's on your short list?
So there is no short list. There's no list. The media has developed a list, and what was said yesterday in our press release is true. We're going to be expeditious about this. I'm not going to appoint a commission to screen these people. The people that I am thinking about or that others are recommending to me are individuals that I know and know very well. There will be time for me, but we're not going to take a great deal of time. And we are getting a lot of recommendations. I think Evan today put out a press release that said there was actually a website where the public can comment, and the public can make recommendations, and so that's a part of it. The only person I know who's taken themselves out of the running, and you should be clear about this, is me. There are people that ask me, well, just on the street, people ask me if I'd appoint myself, and I am saying, no, I would not appoint myself. So thank you very much.